This video is for people who are looking to land their dream job and are struggling to get interviews and offers on the table. I'm going to share with you guys a 3-step formula that I use and have personally used with others to help them build a bulletproof mindset in order to get results with their mind. Stay tuned and let's go through these today. Now, I want to preface this video with, of course, something really important. None of the things I'm going to say to you will matter unless you take action. So, while we're going to talk about the mind and how it's super important, you then still have to put into action daily to get the results that you're hoping to do. And my job or my goal here is to help you achieve those things. Now, in a very simple manner, the reality is I can actually summarize this entire video in just one sentence, which is treat your actual job hunting like a job. That's right. Imagine if you were actually employed to go job hunting. You have a manager or a boss who has expectations from you. There are certain activities that you need to be doing daily to hit that goal. The same is the exact same mindset you need to have when you're now searching for a job. What I'm going to do is I'm going to explain to you 3 key things that I mentioned before as to what they are and how you can organize yourself to do this daily. The first thing I think many people need to realize is that you need to be very disciplined in taking action. Again, like if it's your job, you need to make sure you're making certain activities happen every day so that you're on track. The same goes for now how you're going to apply for jobs. And the way I like to think about this is actually goal setting. Discipline and goal setting go very hand in hand. The thing is, many people don't realize how to incorporate the two. While you can make really good lofty goals, if you're not going to actually enact on them with discipline, meaning to show up daily and to put some sort of action, you're not going to reach those goals. And likewise, if you have, say, really high discipline, meaning you're able to do certain activities consistently daily and reflect, but you don't really know what the goal or end objective is, you're going to be like going around in circles and not really knowing why or how to do things. So the first step, part 1, is how do we build discipline into our daily routine? Well, the first thing is setting our goal, and the goal for that is to create a timeline. Many of us want to get a job yesterday, right? But let's give ourselves some grace and have a realistic timeline. Let's say, for example, 30 days. 30 days is a reasonable timeline that we can aim to expect to get a job. Now, within 30 days, we need to break down what exactly we're going to do, right? So if our goal is to land a job in 30 days, we can't just then sit around for 29 and expect to get the job. No, we now need to put a plan together that we're going to then act every day as part of our discipline. And the way I like to do this is to identify your lever making tasks. Now, what exactly are lever tasks? Well, lever tasks are things that when you apply effort to, gives you a high amount of leverage, right? Imagine what lever is. You push in one end and you get the leverage to lift something heavy, usually. And in this case, you identify what those are. Now, luckily, I'm actually just going to give you them straight away because this is a very simple chronological funnel as to how getting jobs and interviews and offers equate. And the simple solution is you need to be doing more applications that lead to hopefully then more interviews that will hopefully then lead to offers. So if the direct correlation is that you're not getting enough offers, perhaps it's because you're not getting enough interviews. If you're not getting enough interviews, it's probably because you're not applying. So this is what I mean by the linear correlation between the 3. Let's not also forget that networking is also a big part of your job application hunting too. Just because you're firing off applications doesn't mean you can't also go around the human approach, which is to meet and network with other people. So while you're also sending out your applications, I would say a huge part of your discipline action to take is to make sure you're also networking. LinkedIn is the best for this. If I were you, definitely make sure you have your LinkedIn profile optimized and set up, and you should be sending out LinkedIn requests to connect with people who you think are going to be likely to offer you a job, who you can learn from, and just build a relationship. You need to imagine this is like you're actually making friends. Networking doesn't have to be straight away transactional. It can actually just be extending your hand out to say, hey, how are you? I'm this person, I have these skill sets, I just want to get to know you and see if there's something possible in the future. A perfect example of this now, if I were to use myself, when I was actually in the job market in the early parts of my career, I knew it felt pretty daunting. For the most part, you apply to a bunch of things, and honestly, it's just like applying into a vacuum. You send out your email, and it's just gone into the abyss, and you don't know what happens after. And that feeling can be very discouraging. I totally understand, and many of you guys are probably feeling this. But I want you to know that it's not the end. It is only just the step in the dark you have to take to find that end light that is at the other end. And so, this discipline action, you could say, is the eyes closed action that you have to just keep taking, knowing with full faith that it is going to actually pay off. But being disciplined then gives you the structure that you can then just keep going every day. The second thing I want to share, and this might be actually controversial that I don't think many people talk about, but I think is really important for people who aren't in the job market today, is you need to open your eyes and actually see the playing field. And what I mean by this is many people are following the crowd. They're in the masses and doing the same thing. Well, if you're doing everything that everyone else is doing, it makes you just like them, and it's more difficult to stand out and be selected for something more special. So you want to think about ways of how you're going to stand out. Maybe the first thing is to actually observe what everyone else is doing and think about how you're able to stand out a little bit more differently or do something different altogether. And what I mean by this is actually observing the playing field. In basketball, they call it the point guard. In other sports, there's always a captain or someone who sees the playing field and is then able to set the plays. You yourself now are trying to set the plays for your own career. And what I mean by this now is that you need to now pay attention to how the markets are operating. For example, if you're seeing thousands of people apply for a job straight away, okay, maybe that route is over exhausted and now you need to think of a different route. And this comes with time. I mean, I think many people when they first start out, they obviously go through the standard route, and most of the time recruiters and people will obviously say, yeah, like just apply, that's what you gotta do, that's the system, that's the process. But that's also what they do to make sure that they can handle what's going on. Finally, in point 2, the thing I want to emphasize is pay attention to those who have what you want. If someone has that job or was able to get that job in a record time, look at what they did. This goes still hand in hand with seeing the core or observing the market. You want to know and understand how these people did it and apply it to yourself. At the end of the day, we're trying to do things faster and more simple versus long-winded and learning the slow and painful way. If you can learn fast and iteratively, you're going to bypass a lot of people, and you want that to be part of your priorities and how you're going to get your results. Number 3 that I want to share with you is something that maybe you've already heard and I think maybe you need to hear more of, and that's actually abundance thinking. Now, a lot of the time I mentioned earlier that you think that when you're applying, you're just sending it out into the abyss. I totally get that. It can be daunting, and a lot of you guys are feeling that, and I totally feel you. But you have to remember that your mindset is everything, and the energy that you put in is reflected and projected outwards. So one thing I want you to really remember is that you need to believe inherently in your soul that there is something good for you waiting, and all you have to simply do is go out there and find it. Now, will it come to you tomorrow? Probably not really. However, if you are actively taking the steps, like we mentioned, you're putting in that discipline, you're showing up every day, you are applying, you have that accountability in your head, at the same time you're being tactically smart, and you are applying what you think is good, and at the same time conserving and preserving your energy in areas that are effective. Now, with the knowingness in your heart and soul that you will get something, good things are going to happen for you. As they say, as above, so below as above. There's a lot of gurus and amazing people out there who talk about this a lot and share this, in that like your mindset and your energy reflects your outcome of your reality. So this is something important to remember, like have faith, trust God, and know that your opportunity is coming, and that you have to be patient, knowing with full faith that it will come. Some key things to remember when you are ingraining this belief that you are going to succeed. And for everyone, this is very personal, right? Meditation has become a very big thing. Whether it's sitting down in a quiet spot and just feeling your internal body, visioning in your mind what that dream outcome is going to look like. These are amazing practices that you can pick up today, and all start with just getting clarity and writing down what exactly you're hoping to do. Myself, I use prayer and meditation as a combination to envision, as well as to calm the soul and nervous system, to feel and get an understanding as to why I'm doing things. I think many times people feel very flustered, the world is very attention grabby, and things are constant in your face, and being able to slow things down really puts things into perspective, as well as give you that mental capacity and buffer to actually process what and how you're going to do things. So in a nutshell, what really can be summarized when it comes to the mindset of job hunting in 2024, or really any matter going forward, it comes down to how you're actually framing things in your mind. Someone can apply for jobs and be numbly impatient and disconnected. However, I'm challenging you and I'm asking you to think with more intent and have a plan of action. So number 1, your job is job hunting. Treat it like a job. Imagine you have accountability and responsibility amongst yourselves to get to that outcome as soon as possible, and that you are being judged for it. And how are you going to do that? Well, you're going to create a plan of action. 30 days is my recommendation. You're going to figure out how many times you're going to apply for per application, how many LinkedIn requests you're going to send, and you're going to stick to this routine for 30 days to get the results. Statistically, over time, you will get something just based on a numbers game alone. Now, couple that with the ability to also think critically and observe what is working, what's not, as well as ingraining the belief, whether it's meditation practice, going for a walk, writing it down, or simply praying that you are going to get that job, are critical factors nowadays that I recommend anyone to do when it comes to getting a job or any of those goals for that matter. Try this out and let us know. I hope you really enjoy this video, and definitely check out more of how to Scrum and what we do going forward. Peace guys, all the best, and we're always in your corner.